Howdy, howdy, folks. It is Diecastbuffet here again, and Joey Logano wins at Atlanta. Ford's completely dominate the event, and it was definitely a tale of two races. The first half of the race was extremely plain, and the second half was kind of chaotic. But nonetheless, you could pre-order that Joey Logano Atlanta Super Speedway race to win 164 and 124. I'm pretty sure they're going to offer the 164, considering all of his wins pretty much got made the last season. But if you do pre-order it, feel free to use that promo code DIECASTbuffet. You can save on shipping for any orders $30 or more. So, Atlanta Super Speedway, you either love it, you either hate it. I tell you what, though, the racing we saw this weekend compared to last year's trucks and Xfinity and Cup race, the truck race, just go ahead and compare it. Last year, it sucked. You had 5 truck breakaways. This year, the truck race had a whole lot more cautions. The packs were able to stay together. It was fantastic racing. Really appreciate the battle of attrition we had. The Xfinity race was so much fun to watch. All the cautions and the lead changes. Some people don't like it. I personally found it amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The Cup race, I will say, was a little bit disappointing the first half of the event because nothing happened between lap 1 to lap 135, give or take, besides the 23 cars spinning out. I mean, just single file, 2013 Daytona 500 style racing, and pretty much the 22 car, the 12, and the 2 dominated the first half. The second half, they actually started racing 2 wide, 3 wide, making moves. And Brad Keselowski had it in the bag, and, well, he just got screwed. I don't know what the 45 was thinking right there at the end, because he had, for 15 laps, he could have made a run with his teammates to get around Brad K. He could have went ahead in front of Joey Logano. He could have done whatever he could have done, and he could have made some move. Even with 2 to go, he wouldn't pull out a line. So, yeah, he didn't deserve to win this race. And this is coming from someone who cheers for Reddick week in and week out. So, he did not deserve to win that race. Christopher Bell, who was behind the 45, said, screw it, I'm going to go for it. That's how you make moves. He didn't win it, but that's what you got to do. It's so frustrating when you see these drivers with 5 to go, and you know darn well that if you wait to the last lap, there's probably going to be a caution, or the run's not going to materialize, and you're not going to get that push to be able to make the pass. And guess what? They sit there and they wait and they stay in line. That's not how you win these plate races. You have to be aggressive, and the time is now to do so. So when these drivers don't win these plate races, a lot of times it's because they don't even try. How many Xfinity Daytona races have you seen with 5 to go and everyone just stays in line until the last lap and they're like, oh, wow, I didn't win. So Penske dominated. It was an absolute they blew the doors off the competition. I mean, they won both of the stages. They dominated the whole race. It was much less a battle of attrition than last year's Cup Series races. It was 100 miles less than last year, which I think is stupid. Atlanta's been 500 miles for so long, and I thoroughly enjoyed the 500-mile Atlanta race last year. I don't like it being 400 miles. I'm just going to keep it honest with you. The first half, nothing happened. It was horrible. I mean, I truly thought they screwed up the package once again. But the drivers, they were just minding their P's and Q's. The second half came about, and they were actually racing hard. They had a big crash with Kevin Harvick and Ross Chastain, and it just created a huge crash, which definitely added to the battle of attrition. We've seen Amarola blow a tire, unfortunately, while leading. That created another big crash. So things started to heat up in the second half. But hey, man, I love Super Speedway racing. I love it how we have actually 6 Super Speedway races a year compared to 4 races we've had for the better part of 3 decades, give or take. But I tell you what, I wish they would do something like this, the Texas Motor Speedway, because the racing quality we have at these tracks, at these super speedways, the 1.5-mile super speedway that is a million times better than the crap product they put on for the Cup Series at Texas nowadays with the ruined configuration. So I'm hoping they do make that. A lot of people don't like these super speedways. They don't like plate racing. They don't want to see more crashes and more, wild card races. To me, wild card races are so much fun to watch. I love it. I'm all for it. I wish they would have reconfigured Texas before they did Atlanta, because I miss the old Atlanta. I mean, they could have went and ripped up Kentucky and redid that one if they truly wanted to. But you know what? It is what it is. I thoroughly enjoy the super speedway racing. But I will say, though, for the rules package for all 3 of the racings, I don't think there's another track on the circuit that races more different than Atlanta with the super speedway, because the trucks, if you have a 20 to 30 lap green flag run, you usually get about 5 to 6 truck packs, right? And you can't pass because if you pull out a line, you just go way to the back. So pretty much you're screwed. In the Xfinity Series, they could have more congested packs, but the runs didn't materialize as strong as perhaps the Cup cars do. So with the truck race, why it was so good is because they had so many cautions. So you didn't get a chance to see these 5 truck breakaways where you couldn't pass if you're part of that, and you pretty much just stay in line and hope for the best. You had so many cautions that it didn't give them a chance to do that, and you had, pack racing. So my point is they need to work on the Truck Series Atlanta package. I don't know if they could try different throttle bodies, different, manifold, with a tapered spacer. They could do some difference with that. Perhaps taller spoilers, make them clearer. Heck, maybe even the wicker bill. We've seen how that can affect plate racing in the past, but I sincerely think they need to modify the Atlanta truck package, because if they have a long green flag run, you're going to have nothing but single file racing. You're going to have 3 to 4 truck packs with nothing happening. The whole concept of plate racing, why it needs to be packed up, is you want passing. Look at the first 40 laps of the Daytona 500. It was, completely green flag, I think? And they were 2 wide almost the entire time. It was insane. You don't have to have a whole lot of cautions to produce great racing at times. So I feel like getting the trucks packed up again is very important. I do wish they would run the summer Atlanta race as well, but y'all know how I feel about the Truck Series being so short. I feel like they should run 36 races, but that's a story for a different day. The Xfinity race was so much fun. You had the Josh Williams parking on the front straightaway, which, oh my goodness, that was hilarious. But the racing was great. I know a lot of people said, "Oh, these cautions are they're too long, they're boring, more wrecks." I live for it. I love for that stuff, man. I love it. It was fantastic. And the Cup Series event, it was a little bit anticlimactic because it seemed like no one wanted to win this race besides the 20 car and the 22 car and the 6 car. Everyone else was just complacent. I mean, if Cindric wants to win this race, there's no way he's going to have a chance sitting third on the third row. There's no way. There's no way he's going to be able to get around Blaney and get around Logano on the final lap. You have to do what you have to do to win these races, and especially Atlanta when you have 1 mile less of racetrack to go from. I just can't understand why they just stay in line and be complacent. And the 45 car, I think, is the greatest example of that. He literally just sat there like a duck and lost this race. He had a very, very fast Toyota. Might have been the best one out of the whole bunch. You have to make moves. You have to be aggressive. And that's why I'm a fan of Ross Chastain, because when he's in those situations, he throws caution to the wind. He doesn't care. He makes the moves. And that's why it's so much exciting to watch him make the runs. But Josh Berry got collected in the wreck. Larson was wrecked out. Byron was wrecked out. Bowman was kind of a sitting duck. There was really no dominant Chevrolet pack in the race. I mean, I don't even think Hendrick led a lap, which, considering Chevrolet's won prior to today, I think it was like the last 5 or last 6 super speedway races. It was almost a no-show for the Bowtie camp. But I'm curious what y'all think. Make sure to comment down below. I enjoyed it, though, but I'll end my video on this. As Atlanta continues to age, right, because, I mean, you could already see just the texture of the asphalt and how much lighter it is compared to last year, it's going to lose grip, I'd say, pretty significantly each year, okay? And my theory is that 3 years from now, 5 years from now, how is this racetrack going to go? It's going to lose grip, and it's going to be harder and harder for these teams to be able to run full throttle, let alone have pack racing. So I think as the track ages, they either need to bring a different tire compound or perhaps increase downforce, which I'm not really one to increase downforce except for a track like this where if you just have single file racing with restrictor plates and you're just full throttle and no one can pass, it's going to be horrible. You need pack racing in a style like this. So as the years go on, they're probably going to need to adjust the downforce and add more and more to it because these cars are going to be slipping and sliding as this track ages. But they can still improve. I think the Atlanta Super Speedway package, I wish they would have raced significantly more aggressively earlier in the race. I mean, they literally just sat around and did nothing, which I think is really stupid considering it looked like they had a pretty decent crowd there. And they literally did nothing for the first half of the race. Like, literally nothing happened. It was abysmal. So, I don't know. What do y'all think? Feel free to comment down below. Congratulations to the 22 camp, and hopefully there's some confetti on that diecast. That would look cool. That's all for now. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Diecast Buffet. Signing off.